Okay, you guys, what's good, everyone? It's Nigel here, Trinidad Empowerment Network. So let's bring some reality back into the room. Let's bring some parliamentary procedure back into the room. Let's bring some common sense back into the room. Because clearly, our leaders lost their mind. Venezuela attacking Trinidad is borderline absurd. Let's get real. However, the fallout from this is still continues. Canada has issued a travel advisory warning its citizens to exercise caution when traveling to Trinidad and Tobago. This is the fallout from what our Prime Minister said. This is why your words have consequences. This might seem like a small headline, but in reality, it's a big deal. Travel advisories affects how the world sees Trinidad and Tobago. They impact tourism. They impact foreign investment. And they certainly impact our international image. This is why I stand by what I said before. The Prime Minister's statement about Venezuela was reckless, it was misinformed, it was ill thought, and it was frankly stupid. I make no bones about saying that. It was ridiculous. This isn't leadership. It's political posturing that's now spiraling out of control. But today, I want to bring some reality back into the conversation. We need to be realistic. And we need to stop this fearmongering, I believe. So the idea that Venezuela will invade Trinidad, it is not just far-fetched, it's laughable. It's borderline absurd. It is borderline absurd. So like I said, let's stop the fearmongering, let's stop the noise, and let's talk facts, not feelings. Those of you who come on into the comments and start talking about your feelings, your facts doesn't care about your feelings. Take that from this video today. The facts doesn't care about your feelings. Trinidad is not a military power. That's a fact. We are not a military power. We don't have the firepower. We don't have the geopolitical weight. And we are in no position to be threatening anyone, far be it Venezuela. So let's stop this nonsense now. Let's quit this nonsense now. As someone who, in my opinion, I believe I understand leadership, I would never advise our Coast Guard to shoot at Venezuelans. I would never advise our Coast Guard to shoot at Venezuelans. It may sound like bravery to you, but believe me, it is not. It is irresponsible to do that. It is irresponsible to advise our Coast Guard to shoot at our neighbors, to shoot at Venezuelans. Diplomacy is the name of the game here. It is the name of the game here. So, as most of you know, Venezuela is our neighbor, whether we like it or not. We cannot change that fact. They are 15 minutes by boat away from us. We should be aiming to cooperate, not escalate. I've made those points clear. I cannot make these points any more clearer. We should be building bridges, not threatening war from a position of absolute weakness. However, I want to give you five solid reasons why an invasion or military action from Venezuela is highly, highly improbable. They say nothing's impossible, so I say highly, highly improbable. It's not going to happen. But, like they say, nothing is impossible. Number one, Venezuela is already militarily overstretched. And I haven't even touched on corruption, but they are militarily overstretched. Their armed forces are tied up with internal control, fighting dissent, dealing with Colombia's border, and controlling their own population. As you are well aware, Venezuela are in disarray as we speak. They do not have the capacity or the reason to open a new front in the Caribbean. There is zero strategic value in attacking Trinidad and Tobago. Zero. That is number one. Number two, Venezuela have no international backing. Almost zero. You've seen Maduro making trips to Russia recently to try and get backing from them. But they have just about zero international backing as we speak. Venezuela is already under heavy, heavy sanctions from the US, the EU, and others. If they were to attack a peaceful CARICOM neighbor like Trinidad and Tobago, they would lose whatever diplomatic ground they still have left. The reality is, it would be international suicide for Venezuela to attack Trinidad and Tobago, and Maduro knows that. He is fully aware of that. I believe our Prime Minister is also fully aware of this, hence why she was so brave in saying what she said. Of course, it sounds great to those in the cult, those who believe every word she says. It makes you look big, bad, and bold when you say these things. Number three, I believe they need us more than we need them. I really do. Because let's be real, Venezuela needs Trinidad for energy, trade, and diplomacy. The Dragon's gas deal, the failure of that deal would have cost them billions. It would have cost us money as well, like I said before, because of America's intervention, but it would have cost them billions. They are isolated. They are not looking for enemies in the Caribbean. That's the last thing they need. They are looking for lifelines. Hence why you've seen Maduro in Russia, etc. Number four, the economic cost would be catastrophic for Venezuela. War is extremely expensive. Extremely expensive. And Venezuela's economy is already in freefall. It's on a lifeline, on a life string, whatever term you want. It's in freefall. It's bad. It's not good. They are facing hyperinflation. They're facing food shortages. And they're currently rationing fuel. They cannot afford to wage war on anyone, let alone Trinidad and Tobago. Number five, I do not believe the Caribbean will sit in silence. The Caribbean will not sit in silence. It cannot afford to. It cannot afford to sit in silence if this was to happen. So if Venezuela were to attack Trinidad and Tobago, highly unlikely, like I said, guys, stop the fearmongering, stop the nonsense, highly unlikely. CARICOM would close ranks diplomatically and politically. Trinidad may not be strong militarily, but we are part of a regional bloc, CARICOM, and that means something. And regional unity still carries weight in today's world. So I wanted to clear this up. I wanted to be as clear as possible with you. Nothing is impossible in geopolitics, but this, in my humble opinion, is highly improbable. And I believe the more we escalate with reckless talk, coming from our leaders or whoever is escalating these talks, the more we hurt ourselves, not Venezuela. The Prime Minister's words have consequences. The Prime Minister's words have consequences, and Canada's travel advisory is just one of them. Now, you're not going to see them talking about this. You're probably not going to see this in the news or being talked about by any of these politicians. But that is the reality now of what was said by the Prime Minister. So what we need to do now is calm down. We need to think. We need to act with strategy, not ego. We need to take our ego, we need to pipe down and realize it's difficult, but we need to pipe the ego down. We need to take it down a bit. And above all, we have to remember that we don't threaten our neighbors, especially when we are in no position to back it up. And that, my friends, is our reality. So I'd leave you with this. This is highly unlikely to happen. There is not going to be a war between Trinidad and Venezuela, but we should learn lessons from this. We should understand our place in this world, and we should do better moving forward. That's the lesson we should take away from this, because this has consequences. I don't believe I need to talk on this topic anymore. I think enough has been said. I think you have a fair understanding of where we stand if you watch any of my videos. So the fearmongering needs to stop. There is not going to be an attack. It's highly unlikely. This is going to play out, but the last thing any of us need, whether it be Trinidad or Venezuela, is to be making enemies. Diplomacy should be the word of the day, the name of the game here. Anyway, that's it. I'll see you guys on my next video. For now, much love. God bless. Take care. Peace.